If you've been around the realm of spirituality for any sort of time, you've undoubtedly heard bold claims about how unlimited you are, that you are an unlimited being, you are a creator. Yet, the people telling you that, if you can't demonstrate it, then really what they're doing is insulting you. It's like, don't tell me how unlimited I am. Show me. Show me how to prove that to myself. And that's what Lester Levenson, his approach, demonstrates. How you could be your own scientist and not just say all these wonderful things, but actually demonstrate it. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to take the scientific approach where you can prove it to yourself that you're unlimited and not just talk about it. All right, so check this out. Welcome to the Power of Quiet, the simple way to self-realization. So if you want total control of your mind and more happiness and abundance in your life, then you're right in the exact place you want to be. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. You're going to love what we show you. Because what we do here is 100% experiential. Meaning you don't have to believe me, you don't have to believe any of these masters or gurus, but you can demonstrate it for yourself. We show you how to do that step by step. And if you're a regular here, you love the work that we do, and it makes a big difference in your life, then let us know. Hit the like button below and share this video with your friends. Share this wonderful method with the world because, as you and I both know, the world can use something like this to get rid of all of the feelings of lack, all of the misery, all of the hardship, and discover that there's a better way. A way of peace, abundance, and imperturbability. Now, what we do here is we take a very practical approach. One thing that I learned from my teacher, Larry Crane, who was a student of Lester Levenson, the spiritual master, who was originally a scientist. He's a physicist and an engineer, and he studied basically all the realms of science to understand how the universe works. And the conclusion that Lester came to in his life was that all the knowledge that he'd accumulated got him nowhere. Only to the place where he had suffered his second massive heart attack and they just gave him weeks to live. And that prompted Lester to look beyond the knowledge that he'd accumulated and discover a real power that each and every one of us has. But Lester, being a scientist in nature, always took a scientific approach to this discovery of spirituality. He's very practical about it. The way Lester put it was, I only know that which I can prove. It's not what I say, it's what I can do. And so he just took it step by step, proving it to himself all the way up to total mastery. And so that's what I learned from my teacher. He took Lester's approach, and that's why in every single class that we do, one thing that we always make clear right at the very beginning is, don't believe what I say, and don't believe what anyone else says, because just because someone else says it, because someone else tells you that you are an unlimited being, what good does that do you? Unless you can demonstrate that yourself. Otherwise, it's just hearsay. And you walk around talking about it, and it sounds good, but so what? And if you've been around the spiritual communities here and there, you see lots of people talking a big game, talking about how unlimited they are, they're an unlimited being, they're one with the universe. Yet, if you look at them, they have all sorts of limitations in their life. Like the way Larry put it is, a lot of these people, if you turn them upside down and you shake them, no money falls out of their pocket. They can't demonstrate abundance. They can't demonstrate good health, good relationships. They have all sorts of problems. So they're probably not good people to listen to unless they could show you how you could prove it to yourself, right? So that's always been our approach. So how can you take a simple, practical approach to demonstrating your unlimitedness? Now, right here at this wonderful, beautiful place, I don't know if you could see much out the window here, but we're up in the mountains in Romania. We're doing a 12-day retreat here. And this topic came up just a moment ago in a session that we concluded, in which we were listening to Lester Levenson in one of his talks about how you are a conscious creator. It's a very powerful talk. In fact, I'll put a link to that talk down in the description below so you could hear Lester in his own words talking about it. How you're creating everything in your life. And for example, if you can demonstrate $1, you can demonstrate $1 million. The mind sets the size, right? So just change your picture, take on the consciousness of the million, and you'll have it. Now, it's great to hear Lester say that, but how do you do that? And so here at the retreat, we listened to Lester in this talk, and we started to examine for ourselves what it is that we're creating and started to work on that using the tools that we have here in this method to release on our creation so we can create only what we want, not what we don't want. And a question came up from one of the participants. They asked, well, how can I create my parents living forever, them being with me forever? Which sounds like a pretty incredible and an impossible thing to achieve. For one thing, it's pretty much up to your parents what they want to do in that situation. But if we're to take Lester seriously, and if it's our own picture, well, how do we achieve that? And so it's not about any sort of imagination or willing that to happen. And it seems like a pretty impossible thing to achieve, having that happen. So how do we get to that place where we can prove that out? Now, going by Lester's example, I only know that which I can prove, what I can do and achieve for myself. Then we can take it step by step to accomplish these impossible feats. So the first thing I did was I got them to examine their mind and see that in their own mind, there is no answer there. The mind has no idea how that would even be possible. And up until that point, they couldn't figure out in their mind. They were asking their mind. And since their mind didn't have an answer, they're asking this mind here. They're asking me for that answer. And this mind can't give them an answer. And so the only solution there is to, well, let go of asking the mind. It's like looking in an empty file cabinet for an answer that isn't there. And it's silly to keep looking in an empty file cabinet if it's empty. All right, so we just set that aside. And then we just took a very practical approach. You see, it's not about, in this moment, whether you can demonstrate this impossible feat, but focusing on what you can prove, what you can demonstrate. So in this situation, you might not know that you can change the world, change the fact that your parents are going to die, that you can't keep them forever. But one thing that you can prove, and this is undeniable, this is what this method shows you right off the bat, that you can demonstrate for yourself from day one, is that you can change how you feel about it. And so we start there. And so I asked this participant, well, how do you feel about your parents dying? And they said, pretty bad about that. I feel a lot of fear. All right, so here's what we do. We just take the first step, no more, no less, and let the next step be revealed after that. That's all. That's all we do. It's just a very simple, practical, scientific approach. I know that by releasing, I can let the fear go. I can change how I feel. And we can simply discriminate. Even if my parents die, even if that is inevitable, and I can't change that fact, would I rather be in fear or would I rather be imperturbable? And given that option right there, that simple option that's right in front of our nose, that choice is easy. Well, no, I'd rather be imperturbable. I'd rather just feel nice and peaceful and loving about it rather than in fear and wanting to change things and feeling bad and all of that. And so I'm going to use a method and do something about that which I can prove. I can change how I feel about that situation. And that's what we did. We released on it. And so brought up all that fear, let it go, let some more of it go, and even more, until this person just got nice and quiet and peaceful and happy. So no matter what happens, their happiness is right inside of them all the time. And guess what? They started to get an incredible answer to their question and a realization of what they could do to take that next step and have exactly what they want, if they so want. So that's what all of us can do. Whether our goal is something that is as incredible and seemingly as impossible as that, or our goal is to simply fix our finances. We might be sitting around struggling financially and wanting to use releasing as a way to not have to struggle anymore financially, but we seem to be stuck with it. And yeah, we can walk around and talk about how abundant we are and doing the but system and all that stuff, but if we can't demonstrate it, then we're just talking out of our rear end. And so whatever our goal is, if we just take this simple, practical approach, I'm only going to take the first step, no more, no less, and let the next one be revealed. Then we just might find the answer that we're looking for. So let's practice this so you can get a demonstration about proving to yourself that you could take these small steps. First of all, proving you could change how you feel about it. And then, by changing how you feel about it, another step might show up where naturally your picture changes in your mind. So rather than having a picture of lack, a picture of impossibilities, of being stuck, you're open and your sense is, I can. And it's not coming from your mind, it's not kidding yourself, but it's a rock solid conviction, knowingness that you can. And if that's the picture that you're walking around with, then maybe another step will reveal itself where it actually shows up in your real world. So how does that sound? So let's start with taking the first step. Think about a goal that you have in life that you've been stuck on, right? Just take a look. And take a look to see how you feel about being stuck in that goal or in that situation in your life. Maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you have fear and worry about it. And right now in this moment, it's not our concern whether you can actually change the situation. For example, if your goal is to fix your finances, it's not important whether you can manifest money in your life right in this moment. For all you know, all this conscious creation talk is just a bunch of fluff. But right now you can prove that you could change how you feel about it, because your feelings belong to you. Those are under your domain, under your control. And regardless of what's going on in your life, would you rather feel imperturbable, which means nothing bothers you about the situation, which means you're happy, you're at peace? Or would you rather be wound up and upset about the situation? Which would you prefer? Now the answer's pretty obvious when you look at it this way. And your feelings are under your control. If you don't believe that yet, I'll show you that they are. You can prove it to yourself right now. So, take a look at that situation. If you're feeling frustrated or worried, just put your head down and close your eyes and focus on your stomach or chest area right now. And when you think about the situation, just notice if there's a tightness or contraction in your stomach or chest right now. Kind of a clenching feeling. Notice that? Now that tightness is basically you pushing down on that frustration, that fear, or whatever lacking feeling that you've been holding on to. And you're holding on to it and pushing it down because you don't like it. But every time you push these feelings down, you're actually keeping them and collecting them, adding to them, making yourself more frustrated, more fearful, and so on. And how does that help you? And who's doing that? Who's pushing those feelings down, resisting them, fighting with them? You are. And since that doesn't help you, and you're the one who's doing it, let's do the opposite. So again, focus on your stomach, your chest area, and if it helps you, you can close your eyes, put your head down towards your stomach or chest, and just feel that tightness, that contraction. And wherever that is, just open up an imaginary window or door right in front of that contraction, that clenching feeling. And that feeling is just energy. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just energy. Instead of pushing on it, just open up and imagine that energy now going out that imaginary window or door. Just imagine that energy leaving. And more. And even more. And let that energy leave a little bit more. And even more. And let it leave some more. Just pass right through that window. And if you want, you can visualize it. You can just see it as smoke blowing out that door, or water flowing out, whatever. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just open up and let that energy go. Instead of pushing down on it, just allow it to come up. Allow it to leave. It wants to leave. So just get out of the way. Let it leave. And more. And some more. And even more. And some more. And even more. And even more. All right? Now notice how you feel. And all we're looking for right now is just a lighter feeling. Just notice if you feel a little bit lighter now that you opened up the door and let some of that energy go. Notice the difference? So right there, you've proven to yourself that you don't have to fight with these lacking feelings anymore. That you are in charge of that. And if you so decide, if you discriminate and see for yourself, would I rather be imperturbable? Would I rather be bothered? That's up to you. And so now, being your own scientist, you're doing exactly what you can prove that you can do. And now, if you take a look at that situation or that goal of yours, just see if it's a little bit more possible for you to have what you want, more than it was a few moments ago. Notice the difference in that picture in your head? It might just be a subtle sense of, yeah, it's more possible. And that, again, is all we're looking for. See, we just released here for a couple of minutes. But you see, you don't have to reprogram your mind. You don't have to do any positive thinking. You have to put any positive information in there. Just by letting go of pushing down your feelings, those have been blocking you from seeing the unlimited being that you are. And your picture changes. And what you can now start to prove to yourself is that the mind is a creative instrument. And when you've been holding on to the fear, the worry, the frustration, you saw what you're holding in mind in that situation. There's a bunch of I can'ts and all that stuff. And that's exactly what you've been getting in your life. But as your picture changes, you're coming from a place of I can, then watch what happens in your life. You're going to start seeing things go your way. And as you keep proving that more and more, again, you could be practical, you can be a scientist, and know, hey, I can prove that I can manifest money, I can manifest a perfect body. Whatever I decide, it's my picture. Now, releasing is a skill, and it takes practice. You gotta undo all those feelings that you've been stuffing down inside of you. And it takes a practice, and it takes a persistence to undo all that negativity, because you spent a lifetime and more stuffing that stuff in. The good news is you can undo it really, really fast if you step on the gas. And the best way to step on the gas is to join in any of our live classes. Now, lucky for you, if you're interested, for example, in more financial abundance, then the next class that's coming up here in July is the Wealth Manifestation course, where we're focusing all of our releasing skills on undoing all of our limitations, all of our feelings of lack around money, our limitations, and having real wealth in our life, and proving that it's just a picture. And if you like to prove it to yourself, not just say it, not just wish and hope for it, but actually have it in your life once and for all, then I highly recommend joining us for this new 6-week class. And again, I'll put a link to that down in the description below so you can sign up and join us for that. But most importantly, right here, right now, is practice not believing what anybody says, not even the great masters like Lester, like Eckhart Tolle, and so on, that tell you how unlimited you are. It's great for them. They can demonstrate it, but it's time for you to demonstrate it. So pick up that torch, carry it yourself, and prove to yourself you're unlimited.